and he run his flag.
I know where I'm at.
Go ahead. It's recording now.
Oh. Well, I set up and I asked him where Tina and Ruby was, if they had left yet. And he said, yeah, they had been gone. It was like 8:30 or 7:30, about 8 o'clock. Tommy was pretty good and drunk by then. And I set up and I went out to the back porch to smoke a cigarette. And he come out there. He asked me how I was going to make money. I said, hell, I might as well be a fucking whore. And he said, well, I know someone who'll pay for it. Talking about that, whatever,
John Boy.
John Boy. He said, he'll pay for it. I said, well, shit, whatever. He said, well, come over here and show me what you got. I said, no. So I took out my cell phone and I started pushing record. I texted everything he said to Nikki. Everything he kept saying, and me saying no. And then it was
Nikki still has these recordings?
I don't know. We can go get that phone, though.
That would be valuable, especially for...
If it's still there. It got thrown out in the woods. My necklace also got ripped off my neck. My cross I used to wear, that I said I wouldn't never take off. Yeah, it's up there on the side of the mountain, too. That windshield, where his windshield got cracked, that's where I kicked the windshield trying to get out of the car.
Recall.
That was when Tommy grabbed the necklaces and started twisting them around my throat. By then, we'd done drank so much, it was night time, and I freaked out. I was so tired, and I just kept begging him to kill me, so he twisted the necklaces around my throat, and they shattered. And I grabbed my cross, but I went out the car door, and everything I had I woke up the next day, couldn't find my phone. But Nikki, she should still have the recordings. But I told Tommy, I said, well, fuck it. I said, you know what, go get me the vodka. Because it didn't matter. I lived in his house at 23 years old, or 22 years old.
He had busted into your house?
Yeah, he done come into my house, and I done told him no, and my mother lied for him to the cops. So at 24 years old, living in his house, I said, fuck it. Get me Tina's vodka then. He was already fucking pulling his dick out and trying to put it in my mouth pretty much. Just do it, whatever. So I grabbed a bottle of vodka and just chugged it. And just laid there. And Tina pulled up. And I looked over and I said, please help me out. By then I was pretty much vomiting on myself.
Yeah, you were wasted by that time.
I drank a half a gallon of vodka in like probably 10 minutes. And I was seriously laying in a puddle of vomit. And Tommy on top of me. And Tina pulled up and she said something about a dirty whore being on her back. And I just looked away from her because I couldn't stand to look at her no more. And I just looked up at Tommy, and Tommy said, get in the car, or get in the truck. I said, fine. So I got in the truck, and then I remember kicking the window out and him choking me with my rosary beads, and me sitting there begging God, just please let it end, just let me die. I just wanted to die. I just want to die every day. I'm 24 years old.
Now, along with your story sentiment, we're also going to put in what Mother originally said about this to me. Not to you, but what she said to me, to kind of see how she collides her stories.
What did she say to you?
Well, with that incident, she said that she had come home. She had heard you from the building saying, please, someone help me out. And the building was locked, or the door was closed, one or the other. Is what
The
she
door
was saying.
was open. Because
What
I
she told
looked
me.
over at her.
And then she saw you coming out of it with Tommy and headed over the truck. She said nothing about what she said to you, or she said something, but it wasn't anything important. It wasn't something like that. It was something like, what were you doing, or something is what she had asked. She had supposedly asked it.
I think she did.
And you said, what the hell does it matter? As you got to the truck, is how she put it. And then Tommy, of course, went in the truck with you, and you both just drove off. And she left.
I do remember saying, what the hell does it matter, whenever she come out and she's like, Tommy, whenever he got me in the truck. And she said, where are you going? I said, what the fuck does it matter? And I just fell over onto the window and remember looking at it thinking, man, I could just wait till he got up enough speed and jumped out. But yeah, I just remember looking over and I asked her, because I put my hand up, I asked her to help me up, and then Tommy looked up, just jumping around. And Tina says something about a whore being on the back. And my arm fell in a puddle of puke. But you know, I have text messages of her telling me I got him drunk. And da-da-da-da-da. And it's my fault. She's alone. Why am I 24 years old? At 22, I can't even tell him no, because if I tell him no, I'm a bad guy. At 24, if I just get drunk and just lay there and let it happen, because it always does.
You're still a bad guy.
I'm still the bad guy, and it's my fault. I got him drunk. The only reason I was there is because I didn't want to lose my kids to Keith, and guess what? I've lost my kids any fucking ways. And you know what's so fucking pathetic is I'm sitting here in Tina's house now, right next door to the man that I know will be here in this house within the next month after me again. And I know it because he'll get drunk, and he'll do it. He'll come up here just wanting to talk, or just wanting to whatever, reconcile. And it always turns into the same thing.
Mother asked me today if I wanted to stay at Granny's because of our fight this morning.
Yeah, if you leave, I'm gone.
And I originally was going to do it, but when I got back, I was like, no, I don't really see a big deal in leaving to go to Granny's house for one night. Now that I've heard this story, because I wasn't entirely sure on the thing of what had happened. I do remember you talking about Kelly was over here at one point, and then Tommy had come into your house.
Yeah,
I thought he had attacked you.
No, I attacked him. He grabbed my arm when we was down there.
I had also heard from Mom that you were supposedly drunk. I had heard that part of the story.
Yeah,
and I was like,
you come up here, I wasn't drunk.
That's what surprised me, because she's like, go check on the kids, because Tisha was drunk. And I was like, well, that don't seem right. Tisha's never really drunk around her kids, because I've been around you with your kids. The only time you've ever drank with your kids around was because
Christmas.
I was there, and you knew I wasn't going to get drunk.
Oh no.
You had somebody that won't be drunk around the kids.
Exactly. I've never, ever, I will not get drunk around my kids without
I've never seen you get
supervision.
I've never seen you do anything like that. You've always made sure those kids had somebody, even if you were to get high or anything, you always had those kids at a stable person there to watch them, to make sure that nothing happened.
Of course, that's what good parents do.
But that's why it seemed a little strange to me, because...
But, I mean, you come up here, you remember, I wasn't drunk, and I told you, I said, I'm not drunk, Shay. I said, I'm just freaking out. I'm not drunk.
You know, I looked at you and I was like, no, you're not, because if you were drunk, you'd be falling down, you know, goofing off, laughing.
Or freaking out.
Or yelling, you know, just screaming and yelling. Because that's what you do. I mean, I've held you as you were drunk one time, freaking out. I know how you act.
Tell me about it. Tell me about the 40 Klonopins. Who the fuck eats 40 Klonopins and drinks that much liquor behind it and lives? Who the fuck? And you sit there and watch me. My psychiatrist said there ain't no way that you ate 40 Klonopins. I said, well, shit, go. That ain't, go ask two of my
40, but you had a handful. Oh.
I know that, well, Bobby said there was 40 left in it, and I know. That was a prescription. Yeah, it was a prescription of 60.
I just know that you had taken a lot that day, and
I
know you drank a lot, because I can't remember if it was some of the absinthe that you drank that
No,
day?
that was vodka. I had Stephanie and Mark bring vodka.
That's
over.
right. I knew you drank a lot that day, too, because I remember we had a thing of alcohol with us that day.
Yep.
I don't remember how
They
I just
brought it
knew
over.
it was there.
Because I called them after I'd taken all the Klonopin.
Had you taken the last bit of your absinthe, though? Because you had some that you'd taken the day before, and then there was a little bit left.
Yeah, but that absinthe didn't do nothing. That's why I called them to bring the vodka.
Yeah.
I don't know why, and I remember, you know what I remember about it? I remember I found the Klonopins. I said, shit, I need one of them. I opened up the bottle and poured about 3 in my hand. Just 3 of them does me,
Pretty good.
I'm not high off 3 of them. I mean, I could take 1, but my chest will still hurt. I take 2, and I feel pretty good, but 3 is just like, it sets me where I need to be.
That's your mellowlead.
Right. And I remember I put 3 in my hand, and I took them. And I felt good. And I remember going back to the bottle and saying, you know what, fuck it, I might need all these. And I remember pouring the whole bottle in my pocket. The whole bottle in my pocket. And I put 2 in it and closed it back, set it down. I come back later and grabbed them 2 and was like, fuck it, took them 2. I was like, it's obvious I done took them all. So I took them 2, and I remember standing there and Tina being on her porch and reaching in my pocket as she's talking to me, and they're falling out of my hands and on the side of my lips, and I was eating them. And I remember sitting there counting them, and I was like, man, that's like 13. And I ate them. And then I remember asking her to take me back to Granny's. I don't know how it was that I got over here, but I remember her talking to me, and as I was sitting there, she's talking to me, and I'm eating them.
Came over here for something, I forget what.
Right, yeah, and I just remembered that as she was talking, I was thinking, God, this woman makes me want to kill myself. And I just kept eating them. And then that night when we come in, and then Bobby says something about, I had a dream about you. We were married, da-da-da-da-da. And I remember reaching in my pocket again, and I just kept doing it all day, just eating them, and then that's when that vodka, and I don't remember flipping out. I don't remember none of that. But
I do recall all of that because I was sober during the time.
honest to God, I would have killed Bobby had y'all not have been there.
Trust me, you were shaking the little bitty pills all over the place because that little bitty bottle, you went new, and the pills went shoo. You threw the bottle, all the pills went everywhere.
Man, I had that shit. I was dead serious. I was going to feed him nitroglycerin. You know what's so bad is actually the only reason I had that nitroglycerin was for Tina. If she ever dies of a heart attack, they'll probably suspect me of murder. But honest to God, I mean, I want to be as honest as possible. Whenever I come out with all this, I want every bit of the truth, even the part with that 7-year-old girl. 7 years old. I was 15 years old.
Who was it?
It was one of your little friends.
It wasn't Desi.
No, it wasn't
Desi was one person that you never got.
No, it wasn't
I know.
Desi. It was some other little
It
girl.
was
She
a
lived
blonde
up the
girl.
street.
She lived way down the street.
No, that girl was 11. It wasn't that girl.
Wasn't that one?
No, because that girl, we just got her high and waited till she passed out.
Are you sure? Because that one never wanted to come back over because I'd talked to her.
I know. She didn't want to come back over.
And I don't remember the 7-year-old though.
This girl lived like 2 streets up. You used to ride
That's
your
what I'm
bike.
saying.
You only,
Wait.
I mean, she only come over like two.
You're talking
two or
about the one
three
that used to
times.
ride bikes with me? Go to
Yeah.
school with me on the bikes?
Mm-hmm.
God. Oh, I didn't even realize. I remember spending the night at her house. I asked Robert because it was raining and I couldn't bicycle home. I had to stay with her. I know who you're talking about now.
I held that little girl down and let 3 men. And the whole time that little girl was up there and squalled, I squalled.
It's no wonder she moved. She moved before we left Florida. Yeah. The only thing I could think of was why did she move?
That's probably not it.
No,
I'm sure if her parents would have known.
Robert would have been dead. I'm sure because her parents, that's one of the reasons I always loved going to other people's houses because I was like, this is what a family should look like. This is mom, the dad, the daughter being happy. You know, even though she was a single child. And And with Desi, you know, if she had brothers, I know that it would have been really happy for her. But with Desi, you know, I saw Les and I saw her mom. And then it makes me kind of scared because Les and Robert would talk. And I just...
No.
But I don't think it would because that was her...
They come over one time asking us about something about child abuse on Desi. Something about that grandma or something and her boyfriend sexually molested Desi.
So Les?
I don't know if it was the papa that come over and said that the grandmother had a boyfriend and da da da.
Well,
because they had
grandfather.
defects. Because Robert was asking him what the defects was over there for and stuff, and that guy was telling me.
Okay, because I remember Les was talking to Robert over the gate,
Mm-hmm.
and Les was the grandfather.
Yeah, no, he was probably talking about when defects got called over on Desi and stuff.
Now, I remember that Desi's mom, she didn't live with her mom anymore. I never really asked why.
May have been the mom's boyfriend then.
Because the grandfather and mother were married, from what I could tell, for quite a few years. They were together the whole time I was there.
Right.
But
Anyway,
I did see her mom, and her mom kind of lived by herself.
there was so many girls, I need to sit down and write their names down. Tiffany. That's why I love Tiffany. That poor girl, she was being molested by her grandfather at her house, and then turned around every time she come to my house. Robert's like, do this, do that. Sarah Logan.
I remember Sarah.
Cheryl Manning.
Because Sarah
and
was
then
the one that
Cheryl
had
Montgomery.
Sarah was the one that had the boyfriend that I punched, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember her.
She knew all about it. She was the first person I ever told that I was actually in porn. And so Robert, that way, because Robert told me, said, you can't hang out with her, she's ugly. Da-da-da-da-da. And so I told her, after that, we skipped school and went to the abandoned house, and I told her one day, I said, we might as well be prostitutes. And then I told her what Robert did. She threatened Robert, told Robert that she knew if she was going to hang out with me because I was her girlfriend, and she didn't give a fuck. And Robert told her she was going to be in videos too. So she was. He told her he'd get her for child molestation because I was only 14 and she was 19. He said, who are they going to believe? And I wouldn't choose sides, but I knew if I told her that he couldn't make her go away, and I needed someone.
I wish I could have known.
And then
I
there
could have
was
been there for you at least.
the two girls, the Mary Broxson and Jamie Broxson. And there was your two little friends. Those were the youngest ones. And then Robert had said something about you, and that's when I realized it was getting dangerous. That's when I turned 15.
That's
Or
about the
right,
time when
right
we
before
moved.
I turned 16, yeah. We moved when I was 16
Yeah.
because when I went to jail, and I realized Robert had told Tina this and that I was doing this and that I was doing that. He even told Tina once that I was playing with his video cameras, that he had found a video of me masturbating. He told Tina that. Because Tina questioned me about it. I told her I wasn't masturbating on camera. And he told her, said, yeah, she was masturbating with vegetables. I was. It was a video that I made in my room because he gave me the video camera.
And told you. to
And
do it.
even cut the carrot to shape it and everything for me.
1,000 Ways to Die is what comes to mind.
Yeah, I know. When I watched that too, I was like, oh my God.
Could have died from
Right.
having sex with a carrot.
Right? Yeah, it was bad.
Give some humor to this sad little story.
Yes.
Gotta
It's
smile
not
a
really
little.
that sad if something gets done about
Pre-warning
it.
to any viewers that watch this, we laugh to make ourselves feel better. It's not funny, but it just makes us feel a little bit better about the sad, emotional times or the very angry times.
I think the saddest part of the whole story is the fact that I told the cops.
And
And the fact that DFAX has been involved 2 or 3 different times.
there's so much
Yeah, there's so many
proof and
records.
people that have been access to this
And
information
that could have
that
stopped it so
did
many
nothing.
times. And people in the position and capable of doing something about it and chose not to because it would have been too much paperwork. I think that's honest to God what it is. It's just too much paperwork. They ain't getting paid enough. Their salary ain't big enough. to actually do their job, I guess.
I wouldn't care if my salary was a penny for doing it.
I mean, I don't
That's just
understand
something that
why
shouldn't be
nothing hasn't been done. But I think that's honestly the only thing that saddens me about the whole thing. And well, I take that back. The saddest part is the fact that I don't have a mommy. No mama's shoulder to cry on because, well, my mother's Satan. Well, she's Satan's whore. She's a slave to Satan. I know that much. She has to be. She preaches so much God to me. She's preached God to me when I was 14 years old. At 14 years old, how do you deny God unless something's wrong? I denied God. I said there can't be a God.
I do
so
recall
much
you
awful
saying
shit.
that you did not believe in God, and
And
I thought it was because Robert didn't believe was the only reason.
Robert, actually, I was the one that told him. I said there ain't no God. He told me I was the one that convinced him. You know, I always thought the biggest sin in the world was to take someone's faith away. But it really couldn't be because I don't think I really turned him against God. He told me it was me that convinced him that God wasn't real. But I didn't believe in God because I looked around and saw all these grown
terrible
men.
things.
Yeah, all these grown men coming and paying to have sex with me, or paying to have a video of me doing this or that, or paying, you know, to watch me and this girl, or watch me and their own fucking kid have sex. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know, there can't be one, because if there's really a Savior, where is He? I needed a Savior, and I still
If only there
have
wasn't no
Savior.
rainbow and the whole place would flood, right?
No, because God promised with the rainbow that He'd
That's what I'm
never
saying.
do that again.
If only there was no rainbow.
Yeah, I like it.
And the whole place would flood.
Rainbow's my favorite color.
Don't get me wrong, the color's not the problem. It's the promise that goes with it for you. Because, hey, if he'd flood the whole place, you wouldn't have to worry about it, right?
It wouldn't matter. Eventually this world will come to an end. Whether it be from a God or whether it be from man.
Or natural disaster.
Or whatever, yeah. But in my opinion, I found God. I found God when Tammy died. When Tammy let go of every emotion and every bit of anger and hurt that was in her the night before she died, I knew there had to have been a God. And when I got accused of her murder because I predicted her death, I knew there had to have been a God. Because I saw Tammy. I did. I saw her every day for a week. Every day. And they told me it was grief that did it. They told me I was just in some kind of state of grief. But I swear,
her spirit.
I honestly,
comfort
she
you.
had to have. I mean, she was just like her too. She'd come in, she'd be yelling, da 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 da, forget them, come on, let's go. And I'd, all right, let's go. Where is she? She wasn't there.
I feel that she was there just to comfort you during that moment in time.
But that last day I saw her, she gave me cold chills all the way up when I saw her. And she just smiled and laughed and said, it's okay. And that's it. She didn't say no more. She didn't say no less.
She probably reached her time limit on staying to comfort you.
Oh, it wasn't even that. Like, before, I could see her, but I knew, like, she wasn't there. Like, I would hear her more than see her. But then, that last day,
really
man,
just saw her.
I've never seen Tammy laugh like that. I've never seen her smile like that. I've never seen her that pure. So, I don't know. I just knew when she told me it was all going to be okay. I knew eventually everybody would let go of their hurt and anger and quit blaming me. And there's still some that still, like, bitten them, the fucked up ones that just need someone to blame because they have guilt for hanging up on her the night before she died, I guess, and refusing to talk to her, treating her like shit.
Yeah, kind of makes me
People
feel bad
blame
with
other
Chastity.
people. Yeah, people blame other people because they have guilt. It's like me being in jail. I've never in my life been to jail. Well, besides when I was a juvenile.
But that was a little different.
Yeah, the other day, when I went to jail, dude, and that girl was bragging about how she whooped the hell out of that other girl because she left her baby in the car because she was inside getting high. I said, what are you in here for? I got caught with crack rock, but hell, just an hour before she's telling me about how she had
1-year-old Miracle baby. She named her daughter Miracle. And you're in here for crack rock. And then you're going to beat the hell out of another girl because she left her baby in the car. The baby ain't dead. Even if it had been dead, she didn't really beat that girl up for that. She beat her up because she was angry and pissed off that she's in jail and she needed a place to vent her frustration. I know, because I beat the hell out of that little meth whore. And I said it's all because Pops went to jail. You know what? That was Pops' mistake. Pops went to jail because he chose to hang out with her. And I knew that. But I just needed to play it. And they knew I was looking for a fight. Hell, my face was black and blue where I punched my own self in the face because I needed a fight so bad. And that girl just kept pushing me. I said, you know what? I'm going to blame it on the fact she's a meth whore. She got Pops put in jail. Oh! Incredible Hulk on her ass. I whooped your ass, too.
You make me angry. You don't like me when I'm angry.
Right? I mean, but honestly, I purposely kind of fed into that fight. I mean, the girl did make me mad because she was sitting in the back seat talking shit about a guy that just helped her out of a tough situation, gave her money, and then talking about how stupid and retarded he was. And I think that it makes her a bad person. I looked over at Pops. I said, just think of how she's talking about you, and we'd come all the way to Tennessee to get her. And she ain't even got gas money. And then she got in my face. You don't know me? I said, look, you don't fucking know me.
Nope.
And that's what I tell everybody before I get into a fight. You don't know me. I'm a very angry individual. But I have to keep myself from blacking out now. I've learned to. But I kind of did. I fed into her crap because I wanted to fight her. I was angry. I'll admit it. But it's just like I told them girls in jail. They only wanted to whoop her ass because guess what? They were all in there because every single damn one of them did something wrong. Same with me. I was in there because I got drunk in public. You know, that's against the law. For certain reasons, obviously. I was naked. Well, I ended up naked.
Well, I was like, you weren't naked, I don't think, at the start of it. It was the, oh, sure, fine, we'll just have sex. Things how you're going to blame us for it.
Right?
I mean, you got naked.
I mean, I was just trying to make a damn point, you know.
Yes.
I was drunk, and it was the wrong choice. It was I won't do it again. And I'm done with drinking. I hate it, and my mouth waters. Oh, God, my mouth's watered every day since I went to jail for a beer. But I haven't drunk since.
At least there's no temptation here.
Oh, there's temptation.
Well, I mean, here as in this house, in the house.
Right. No. But if I wanted it bad enough, all I have to do is make a phone call and get a ride out of here. Honestly. If I want anything, all I have to do is make a phone call and get a ride out of here.
That's the sad part.
So there is temptation. It's everywhere. It's just I know where my limit is. And me going to jail is obviously a limit. I don't want to do that again.
No.
I don't ever want to do that again. And you know, Tina bailing me out. She makes out like that makes everything go away. And she told me, you better love me, I bailed you out. Big whoopty. I thought yours was 980, the first 3 digits. I kept trying to call you instead of her, but hers is the only one I could remember, so.
Unfortunately, I didn't have the money at the time, but I would have.
Well, either way, you would have helped find a way or talk to Rick or something. But, you know, I'm saying, that don't make her a good mama because
I would have been like, wait a couple more days. Wait till, like, whenever my check comes in, 13th, I will pick you up.
But it goes to prove, honest to God, it goes to prove. Because, guess what? Stephanie went to jail for drinking. She refused. And she sat right there and said, any of my girls ever go to jail for drinking, I'll be damned if I bail them out. The only reason she bailed me out is because 3 days prior I cussed her out, and everybody's telling her she shouldn't. It's because the reason she did it is because she knows she should do at least one damn thing for me. She ain't done nothing else in my life. She did it out of guilt. Not out of the goodness of her heart. She did it out of guilt. The woman has guilt, but her guilt ain't strong enough to leave a man like that. And honestly, that's just what I feel it is. Her guilt, she just wanted to prove me wrong. It don't prove me wrong. It just proves that you'll fucking go against your word. You won't fucking help the other girls, but you'll help me just so I'll quit being angry, so I'll quit telling everybody the story. That's what she wanted. She wants me to quit talking about it. She even told me on the phone, I don't want to hear you da-da-da-da-da anymore. I don't want to hear about it no more. I held these secrets for years while me and Robert, from the day our relationship begun till the
And
very
worst part
day.
is she's always like, if only she would have told me.
Mm-hmm.
But
What good would it
made
have
a
done?
difference.
No, it wouldn't have. But look, okay, so I held the secret from Robert from the age of 13 to 16. That's 3 years. I held the secrets till I was damn near 17. I told on Robert in June is when I come back from running away. I turned 17 in July. So almost 4 years I held all them secrets. But then turn around, Tommy does the same thing, and I held that secret until after you girls. Actually, I held that secret till I was 21, what actually happened, and I'll never forget it because I caught her on the phone. I said, you want to know what kind of man you're really with? I'll tell you. Fine, I'm tired of fucking hiding it. And I told her, and she said, you're lying. I said, I ain't lying. I said, ask Tommy. I said, ask him. I said, I can tell you the size of his fucking cock. She told me I was a liar at 21 years old. Or at 20 years old, 21. Yeah, no, I was 21. It was right before I went to Chicago. I went to Chicago because she called me a liar too again, and fuck it, you know. I couldn't stay with her because I was a liar. You know what I'm saying?
So
I'm
happy
just.
that you're still wearing that.
Oh yeah, they tried to take me. I wouldn't even take it off in jail. I was like, hell no, it don't come off my neck. But you know, that's the thing. So from the age of 16 to 21, I held the secret of Tommy. What actually happened?
Makes
Even
me
though-
think of my dream last night. I had a dream, and in it, I held a sword. It was a sword of justice. There was darkness falling upon the land, and I was going to save it, but it wasn't just me. I wore this suit of armor that had its own mind, its own life. It was known
You
as the
dream
Black
the
Knight.
weirdest things. Your mind
But
twist is so
it was
weird. I like
so
it though.
Unique, though, to me. I was just thinking, you know, because it was my sword's name.
Well,
I
then
actually
maybe
had a
that
name.
means
It was the sword
you
of...
know the phone's gonna ring
Yeah.
at least by Monday. By Monday or
The
Tuesday, the
sword's
phone's
name
gonna ring.
itself, though, was what caught me so strangely. It was the sword of innocence and justice.
Right?
Because it was supposed to be the reason why I could awaken this weird, because it was in a pyramid or something. It was, you went to this different world where darkness was going to fall upon it. Like, you saw this huge thing coming out of the top that was just like this big dark
Maybe the
pyramid.
darkness is the end of my life. And maybe
don't
you're
know.
gonna have to do something because Shaylee and I've tried.
But
Honestly, and it
it was
sounds so fucked up.
strange to me, and there was things that were in my path. There was things that were against me. There was even another night. It was a white night, and it was like just the opposite of me, and I had to face it.
Maybe that white knight is your mother. You know, if you help me, she's going to be against
I don't
you.
care.
I'm telling you, you
This
know.
is something that I want to do for you. Even if you were
You
to
shouldn't
pass
do it
I
for
would
me.
still want this book out, because I would want this to be something that you could have done.
All I want mainly in my book, though, is that poem. I want that
That
poem.
will actually be a part of it.
It has to be the very beginning, the preface or whatever.
And the
It has
end.
to be.
It'll be the beginning and the end of the book, is what I figured. It was going to be the prelude and the elude,
Let's take
to
this.
kind of show where that poem truly comes from, what it means. At the beginning, it's just going to be a poem, and then once we get into the story,
The poem is the whole entire story, honestly,
Yeah.
wrapped up into one
that's what I'm saying, is they're going to hear the poem and be like, oh, it's a nice poem. Then they're going to hear the story, and they're going to be like, oh my god. Then when they hear the poem again, they're going to see the book as it plays out in the poem.
Right. Yeah, it makes
That's what I
more
was
sense.
thinking of doing, actually. Because you were talking about the poem, and I was like, we got to put that in the book. We got to put that in the book.
Poem, when I wrote that poem, that was the day I decided I was going to write a book one day. Remember when I was 16, I said I was going to write a book on what happened with Robert. But then I couldn't start writing when I was 16 because then Tommy started, and it was just, it's always been, see, my thing is I don't have a happy ending. I can't write the book because I don't have an ending. There's no ending for me unless it either ends or I find happiness, and I don't see happiness anywhere in my future unless justice gets served, and I don't ever see justice
But
get
that's the
served.
thing. There are
I've
some
got
things
to
that
do it.
never get the happy ending. And that's That's the thing is, there will be things that will never have happy endings. I know
I know my life is always, I mean, I know that I'm going to be sad the rest of my life, but I shouldn't be sad every day. I shouldn't be angry every day. I'm angry, and I don't mean to yell at you like with the cleaning thing. It's not that I'm really OCD. It's just I fucking and
You take it out on just certain other things.
but it's something about garbage and trash. And I look around and I'm like, God, I'm living in shit. And I've lived in shit my whole life. And I think that's what I connect it to. I look at garbage and I think of shit. And I feel like it's always been garbage surrounding me. Like I've been weighed down and buried alive underneath it. And not even literal garbage, but just life itself is just it's like I've been at the bottom of a fucking trash can and I can't dig my way out because the garbage just keeps piling on top and I'm suffocating. So then I take it to a literal extreme that I see garbage and I'm like, God dang, I'm literally suffocating in trash, you know. And maybe I am OCD. Maybe OCD is it's not that I'm really OCD. I always looked for comfort whenever I was 14 years old. You remember me cleaning the fucking floors on my hands and knees. And
I remember.
I could clean like that. I would clean and nothing else mattered because I would watch all the dirt be washed away. And one of these days I'll watch all this garbage be washed away. It's just a comfort, I guess. Maybe for me, cleaning is a comfort for me. It makes me feel better. I feel refreshed. I feel like I've accomplished something. I've done something. It's, there's something. I don't know. I'm just really tired, and I don't want to kill myself at the age of 25. But I think I will. And I think that's what scares me. And if worse come to worse, if you never made a fucking book, always YouTube what I'm saying. But honestly, I really don't think if justice gets served within this next year, I won't be around because I'm too goddamn tired. I'm too goddamn tired to go to 2013 to watch it fucking be the same and it just be more bullshit. And I'm really... I'll take someone out with me, and even if it's Tommy and Tina, but I'll be spending the rest of my life in prison, or I'm going to have to kill myself. I'm not threatening their lives, that's not what I'm saying, but nobody else has ever done anything. Nobody else is ever going to do anything. The cops. I went to Alabama, I went to Georgia, and I went to Florida on the child pornography because that was every state I went to with Robert. That's every state I fucking made a video in. Alabama didn't want nothing to do with it because I was a runaway. I shouldn't have been in their state anyways. They didn't even want to go out and look at the house. I took Tina straight to the house. She saw the padlocks on the outside of the door. She keyed up Tommy's car, or Robert's car, excuse me, because his car was still parked out there. His Mustang that had the license plate that said Tisha on the front of it. The paintings that were on the wall, my frog that I drew on the wall, my 8-ball that I drew above the fireplace, my shroom I drew on the other wall. I was a teenager, whatever.
Yeah.
I was 16, I didn't have nothing else to do. I'm locked inside an abandoned house. Padlocked in. I sat in a rocking chair and stared out the window. You know why I love Pink? I love Pink because I had a portable CD player. I had an Evanescence CD, and I had a Pink CD, and I had the Eagles. But Pink, it was the Misunderstood album. Every song just, it was my escape out of that room. And I could look through the crack in the window, and I would just sing and sing and sing. The only reason I liked Evanescence is because I had a keyboard there. He got me a keyboard so I'd have some other source of entertainment, so I'd learn to do something. So I listened to Evanescence and learned every song on that fucking album. The Eagles, couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand the Eagles. I love them now, but I hated that CD. It was the greatest hits. But Pink, I don't know, that Dear Dear Diary song, just that was my song. That's why I have a fairy, because she talks about a fairy being on her shoulder as a guardian angel. I didn't want mine on my shoulder because I got my back piece, but I needed a fairy because one day I always thought, she could fly away. Fairies could fly away. They could fly away from all of it. And they're beautiful, and nobody could ever touch them. You can't even, That's why I have my fairy. I named her Sarah, too.
It's one of the reasons I always thought if I ever get a tattoo on my back, it would be wings. Because flying away was always one of my greatest things. Is to truly escape would be to escape the world, to fly from the gravitational pull.
Right.